Hi, and welcome back to Therapeutic Kinesiology. Today, I'm going to show you how to warm up your spine in the seated position. These exercises are really good for seniors or anybody who is infirm, is stuck sitting for long periods of time, or works at a chair or at a desk. We'll begin in neutral spine position with the head over the thorax, over the pelvis, lined up along this vertical axis, which is also called a position of mechanical advantage because your muscles are putting out the least amount of effort to keep you upright. To feel that, just lean back without touching the back of your chair and notice how your muscles along the front of the trunk, especially the abdominals, have to work to keep you from going over backward. Same thing holds true if you lean forward. The muscles on your back are working to keep you from going forward even farther. If you go to the side, these muscles are short. These muscles are working to keep the body from tipping over to the side even farther. And I always like to do things symmetrically, so just feel that on the other side. The next exercise we're going to do is arcing, and I'm sitting on an angle so you can see a little bit more three-dimensional movement of my body. The goals of this exercise is to move the whole spine sequentially in three parts: pelvis, thorax, head, starting from the bottom and going up. As we do this exercise, it's important to keep the hips and the shoulders square. And by square, I mean if I go into flexion, here's square. Now, if I round my back, you can see how I'm moving my shoulders into protraction, almost like I'm folding my rib cage in half as I do this. So keeping the hips and shoulders square and level. So if there was a line across here, keep this level, keep this level. Also, keeping the shoulder, here's the side of my shoulder, over the side of my hip. I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm going to be doing the exercise, shoulders over hip. And I like to check myself in a mirror to make sure my shoulders are over my hip, as opposed to shoulders behind the hips or shoulders in front of the hips. They have a completely different feeling. So I'll show you the exercise from the side first. Watch me before you do it. I'm going to tip my pelvis under, thorax, head. Then I'm going to hang out here. I'm looking at my pubic bone and my belly button, so I have my whole spine flexed. So I've got my abdominal muscles contracted, and I'm breathing into this area of the back of my ribs, just really trying to open my back and relax my back. And take 3 deep breaths into that area. Then reverse the movement, pelvis, thorax, head, and look at the ceiling. And then head, thorax, pelvis, back to neutral. And I like to just give myself a little bit of a touch just to remind myself that it's sequential. Starting pelvis, thorax, head, 3 deep breaths, 2, and 1 more. Open the back of your ribs. Then pelvis, thorax, head. Bring the head back on top, take the thorax back to neutral, and the pelvis back to neutral. Another image that really helps when you do this is you go into flexion, and then as we're going into extension, I imagine the front of my body like a zipper opening. So the movement just flows through, starting from the bottom, thorax and head, sequentially up the spine. So I'm going to speed it up just a little bit, and we're going to leave out the breathing in between. Pelvis, thorax, head. Open your zipper. Rolling up, and then head, thorax, pelvis. Now, I look over at myself, and I can see I'm a little bit pitched forward. So I want to end here rather than here. It's that feeling. If I'm here, I can feel weight. going down from here, my back is working a little bit harder. Don't worry about getting it perfect. So the most important thing is just to get your spine moving sequentially. Again, flexion, hyperextension, back to extension in 3 parts. And it's really that coming back to center each time that'll help you feel, okay, now I'm sitting in the center position. Okay, we're going to loosen that one up a little bit because I just want to bring in some more organic movement in the spine. Hands on the knees. The movement's really going to occur at the shoulders and the hips, and the spine is rocking on the limbs. So I'm looking at my pubic bone and then extending my head and tail simultaneously. And just do this a few times. Open up your back. Relax and be careful not to overwork your spine. Doing this just to improve mobility. Make sure you look at your pubic bone and your belly button each time you flex, and each time come back to neutral. It's kind of like the cat-cow without the cow. I think this is the cow phase. And you could take it to here, but I do like to just do it to neutral because my lower back tends to get pretty tight. So I'm trying to focus on this area of my back and loosen it up as I'm doing this exercise. Good. Now the next one we're going to do is going to be for lateral movement of the spine. And again, I'm breaking it down. Head, neck, neck, head, head, neck, neck, head. Working on keeping my hips and shoulders level. It's okay if they move a little bit. You see my cat in the video here. I think it's lunchtime. Okay, back to moving the spine sideways. We'll start with the upper. Let's just rock the head a little bit at the top vertebrae where the head meets the neck. Just kind of loosen it up. Think about keeping your shoulders stable. You can put your hands lightly on top of your shoulders just to give them a little bit of stability. So I'm going upper, lower cervicals, upper, upper, lower. See the sequence? Lower, upper. And the important part about coming back up is to step from the bottom up. Otherwise, it would look like that. That was a weird movement. All right, do it a few times. Now, we're going to take it into the rib cage. See how my shoulders bend sideways? This side of the ribs is opening. This side of the rib cage is closing like an accordion. And then waist and back up in one smooth movement. Slowly through the neck, rib cage, waist, and back up. And just kind of easy. Feel the weight of your head as you're going to the side, stretching over. And you could imagine your spine like a wave going up and over. There we go. Now I'm starting from the bottom. Thorax, head, head, thorax, waist and pelvis, reverse. Head, thorax, waist and pelvis, reverse. And one more time. The last movement we're going to do is rotation. So we'll be turning the head, then the thorax. We're just going to start with the head. Just a little tiny look right and left, moving the upper cervicals. To feel that, put the hands on the back of the neck and move above it. And then turn your head as far as you can, keeping your rib cage stable, your arms stable. Go right to left, upper, lower, lower, upper, upper, lower, lower, upper. Now, for this next one, put the arms in this, what I call fourth square position to keep the shoulders relatively stable. Turn your head and then turn your shoulders and come back to center. Head and shoulders and come back to center. And you can turn the shoulders, just shifting the arms with the rib cage. Then we're going to cross one leg over the other, hold the knee in, twist head, thorax, and feel it go into your hip. Make sure your hips are very stable. And doing the other side, crossing the leg over, pulling the knee toward the hip, turn the head, then the thorax. And you should feel the stretch in this area around your hip. I'm really focusing on keeping my spine aligned along the central axis and also keeping my shoulder girdle wide. And you're using these muscles in your waist. Thanks for joining me for the spinal exercises. I really recommend doing these every day. It only takes about 5 minutes if you do each exercise about 8 times. Also, make sure you contract your abdominals when you do those twisting exercises, because one of the most common low back injuries is twisting without having the abdominals contracted. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, join my YouTube channel, and tell your friends. And keep in mind that if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. So make sure to move your spine in a full range of movement every day. See you later. Bye.